Welcome back. This is Sportsbeat, and I'm Rob Drumm. We are recording today, April 27th, in the sunny and well-lit My Little Falls podcast studio. And as always, I'm joined by the man who makes the lighting look good, Dave Warner. How you doing?
The lighting looks good. I'm not sure how it works on you, but
it's not the golden hour yet.
Yeah, it's not. All right.
I don't think it's ever the golden
hour. I have some golden lights on you, though.
They're not helping. We're out of here. So we are joined by our friend Josh Lanza, and it just Josh Lanza, sorry, can't read my own handwriting. And he is the head coach of ESports at Herkimer College, and he recently brought home with his team a national championship. So you are the first coach that is a national championship to join our podcast. So first, congratulations to you and your Call of Duty team.
Oh, that's a high honor. Thank you, Rob. Good to be back.
So oh, there we go. We got some cool sound effects.
Fanfare. All right.
We are moving up in this world. So tell us, we talked earlier in your season when everything was going, and this is for those of you who don't know, this is your inaugural season. So that's talk about the road, how you got here, and then we'll talk about your recent and what you did to secure that. So go for there. How'd we get here?
Sure thing. So as I mentioned the last time I was on your show here, part of what was going on was we were getting our feet wet with the national scene, the NJCAA, as far as esports go. Prior to that, we had been playing in a series of SUNY tournaments. We were kind of playing at the state level with other SUNY schools that, we wouldn't normally be playing with because of our, junior college division and all that. But this semester, even after COVID happened, and we had our funding pulled in order to build an esports lab that didn't actually quite pan out, and we were still working remotely. Students were taking classes remotely, but esports could still thrive in that environment. We were able to play things in a remote environment. So, despite the setbacks, our athletic director, Don Dutcher, called me in, and Frank Trapolsky, my co-head coach. He called us in virtually, speaking to his office, and said, we would like to get our feet wet at the NJCAA level. We believe the two of you are best equipped to make that happen and pull our teams together. So we tried every avenue that we could to advertise to students. We said there are 13 possible games that the NJCAA recognizes that one could sign up for. If anybody is interested in playing any of these games, let us know, get back to us. Well, two students, Christian Mondia from Deerfield, New York, and Jaden Vargas from the Bronx, both answered that call for Call of Duty Modern Warfare Gunfight. There were some other students as well who participated in Smash Brothers, in Fortnite, in Rocket League. And those students as well also worked really hard, did their best that they could in their individual sports. But undeniably, the talent level of Jaden and Christian rose to the top this semester as we were able to win every single game we played against another school. And we made it easily into the top cut for the NJCAA Call of Duty tournament. And we were able to clinch the title as our world champions now.
Nice. So I know in past years, and this might be an interesting segue, but you guys had your funding cut, and that was because of everything going on in SUNY, COVID, and
That's
just
right.
money in general in government and all that kind of stuff that we don't have to go into because we all know it. So moving forward, like, how are you guys going to get that lab? Is that now becomes a priority? Because if you guys and girls and team that you guys have, if nothing had happened or, you had a mediocre season, it would have been easy. And I don't want to say write it off, but in looking around, being a nerd that I am, it's easy to write off esports, especially when things aren't going beautifully. You guys now have a national championship in your first year. So that's going to put some pressure, I would think, to some degree to get this lab, because, hopefully COVID is over and
Right.
ending, and we're seeing return to on campus, and you guys are going to need a practice facility.
Absolutely, Rob. And we were told by the college administration that this fall semester, as of today, April 27th, we're looking at a traditional start, to the semester. Students going back to classes. Of course, all CDC social distancing guidelines will be adhered to.
Right.
But we are doing our best to open the campus back up in a safe environment where students can participate more with on-campus activities. With that having been said, Frank and myself have drawn up a budget proposal for our esports facility, which will be housed in our technology center on campus. This includes top-of-the-line Alienware computers, PlayStations, Nintendo Switches, and all the games that come with them. We're trying to, again, cast the widest net possible to say that, if you play one of the games that the NJCAA recognizes as an esport, you're welcome on our team. We're not saying we're just a Rocket League school, or we're just a Smash Brothers school, or just a Call of Duty school now. It's not like that. What I try to tell people is that you really have to think of these different games as different events at the track meet, and not so much a different sport in and of themselves. That's not how we look at it. We look at it as just events, right? So we were number one in Call of Duty Modern Warfare. But there's other events we can certainly participate in and try to get some titles for as well.
And that's interesting that you talk about it as a track meet and looking at it as individual events instead of, one being one and one being another, and they're being separate. I like that analogy because it really brings it home. Because when you think of a track meet, you've got a bunch of different aspects going on, but it makes a collective score. And in this, while there is individual achievements, you really sink or swim as a full collective team.
Right. We want all aspects of the esports team, to be developed completely. And honestly, it's not like to say, oh, your Rocket League team didn't do as well, so therefore that brings down the Smash Brothers team. Of course not.
Right.
They're still in their own individual sector, but cohesively, we're trying to promote Herkimer College sports can grow, and you as a player can hone your skills here and actually be part of a championship level team. Nice.
What do you and maybe it might be too early because your season, well, first off, is your season over? Is there anything
Yes.
So there's no next level or nothing beyond this level?
That was the postseason tournament. So
okay.
Yeah, the official season ended actually a little over 2 weeks ago. So for the NJCAA. So yeah, that was a postseason tournament. It cuts right to top 8.
Gotcha. Okay. So there, that makes sense now. So what are you looking in besides looking in for a full funding or a full facility of what I would think is a dream? What's your next season look like? Who do we have coming back? I know it's a little bit different versus 2-year and 4-year schools, just because, the turnover rate at community colleges is obviously you're there for 2 maximum or 1 year
right.
most of the time. So what does next season look like? I know it's a little early to ask that question, but
right.
Never too early.
I've got a couple parts to answer for that question. So I'll start in terms of the student body. I do believe everyone who did participate on the esports team this semester is slated to come back. Jaden and Christian are Call of Duty champions, are both freshmen. So they do have at least another year's worth of schooling to go. And they're both, of course, academically eligible. So we're looking forward to, keeping the crown, as it were. And we're going to run it back. I should be clear as well. The NJCAA recognized Call of Duty Modern Warfare Gunfight as a invitational, but they are making it a full-fledged championship game for this fall because of its popularity. We had many teams participating across the country in this particular esport. So they kept it as an invitational, quote unquote. But we are the best in the nation. We're ranked number 1 now, so nobody's going to take that from us.
Nice.
And we had to beat a school from South Carolina, Sumter Fire Ants. They were the number 1 seed. And then in the final match, it was college from Irvine Valley College from California. So we were playing against people from all across the country. And we're looking forward to having Jaden and Christian back to, keep the crown, as it were, in Herkimer's halls. In addition to that, like we said, we're looking for any student who is academically eligible, who is able to who is willing to participate and put the hours in for any of the 13 recognized titles by the NJCAA. In terms of recruiting from local high schools and stuff like that, we have been in talks, especially with Herkimer High School, who's looking to develop some sort of esports team as well, from what I've heard down there. Anybody who's looking to come to Herkimer is now going to have a new option as far as athletics are concerned. Now, as for the recruiting over the summer and that aspect, well, that's where I have to make an announcement to you, Rob. This is actually my last semester working for Herkimer College.
Oh,
I'm ending on a high note, and I'm retiring because I won. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not retiring, but I have taken a new position at St. Lawerence University as their full-time esports coordinator.
nice.
St. Lawerence is known for 2 esports currently. They are well known for League of Legends and Overwatch. And part of my job there is going to be expanding out that program to include new titles, to recruit students from far and wide to come to St. Lawerence, who is already well known for their outstanding athletic programs in hockey, lacrosse, soccer, you name it. But now they're adding esports to the roster there too, and they're investing in a full-time position to make sure that esports becomes a reality for St. Lawerence. So I'm proud to say that I was selected for that full-time job. But there's no doubt that Herkimer gave me the foundation to succeed at the interviews for that job. So I'm eternally grateful for my time here at Herkimer.
Nice.
And
You can say is your first year at the helm, you put a national championship on the roster. So
yes, that's right. And
I didn't hurt.
That makes the resume look really weak,
Yeah, really weak. Yeah,
I mean, let's lead with that.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't need anything else, guys. Just read paragraph 1.
First year national championship in Call of Duty. When do I start? No, I'm sure that's how your interview totally went too, right?
Well, at that point, I didn't have the championship under my belt, so we were just looking at an undefeated season. I did mention that we kept that undefeated season going the entire time, so that much is true. But it was really, how Herkimer supported me and Frank as well to start this team. We had the full backing of our administration. To say, we didn't have much in terms of a budget, but they, whatever they could scrape up for us, they did. And now that we have this championship under our belt, and the president herself, called me this morning to congratulate me on our win. And she said, that she's looking to make esports, a staple of Herkimer College. And I know it's going to be in good hands with Frank and the rest of the students on the team. All credit goes to them. Those students are incredibly talented. Jaden and Christian really gelled well together as a duo. Their communication skills are top notch. Their mechanical skills in terms of the game are top notch. They earned that win 8 ways to Sunday. So it's all credit goes to them. All we did, Frank and I, we just made sure they were in the right place at the right time, but hey, they put in the work.
That's awesome. And we'll have to make sure that we get a good connection with Frank. I know you personally, so it made it easy, but we'll have to establish a relationship with Frank here as you hand off. And then in the future, maybe have you on from St. Lawerence to talk about what you're doing there as you build a program. Because again, I think, when you look at sports overall, and I'm looking at the global aspect of sports, there's not much more room that you can do except expanding the teams. Like baseball isn't going to be expanding the game. It's maybe a couple teams here and there. Hockey, which I'm sure Scott will talk about in Marty's Legal Stick. There's an expansion draft coming up. They're going to add a team, but they're not changing the game. Esports
Right.
is like that last, or I don't want to say the last frontier, but it's the current frontier because, originally it starts off with drones and now we're into all this competitive gaming that's going on. It was just, World of Warcraft, League of Legends. They added Overwatch a little bit, which I'm accustomed to because I'll bang out a couple hours of Overwatch here and there. But, now you're talking, everybody's got an Xbox, everybody's got a PlayStation, Switch, and, it gives them something to do when they get to college. So it's an interesting aspect.
Right. Yeah, it definitely is, Rob. And well, you said it is that new frontier. It is the frontier. You mentioned Overwatch. Overwatch 2 is going to be coming out, within next year. That's going to be a game changer. Imagine if you were playing a game of baseball and suddenly the MLB commissioners said, you know what, first base is just too far away. Let's bring up first base by a foot so they don't have to run as far to first base or something like that. So let's try to balance the game out a little bit more, something like that.
I could totally see Rob Manfred doing that too, but that's okay.
Yes, but you know what I mean? It's
I got you.
We're at the mercy of the developers in esports. So if the developers say this particular play style is too strong right now, we're actually going to go in and tweak the game sometimes in the middle of a season to fix what they would say, fix an issue, which forces you as a team to completely sometimes change your strategy.
And that's going to, and I wonder what would happen. And I don't think it really happened too much this year, but Overwatch 2 is going to come out. There's always going to be a beta, because they're going to roll it out. Something's going to change. And it's going to be interesting because I don't think we've seen it in the current version of esports in general, where a major update has happened in the middle of a season. Now it happens all the time when they play, like the big sponsor teams. You'll watch like the stuff going down Red Bull Stadium or down in Madison Square Gardens, but they're playing isolated servers. It's going to be interesting to see when, you're just playing on console based games, that what would happen if an update comes out in the middle of the season that does, in your case, move first base a foot or two closer to home. Right.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And it's going to be a challenge. I can't say for certain how we're going to meet that challenge. It's going to depend on, the people we get and the games we see. I can tell you from experience right now, in our quarterfinal match against Utica College, they're a college out in Michigan, the Samsons, we were experiencing a developer issue on our Jaden's Xbox. It was a developer issue. It was a problem caused by Activision, not caused by Jaden's internet connection or anything of the sort, but it was hampering his ability to play. And thanks to the Wonder team on Reddit, we were able to find a Reddit solution to the problem, which caused us to have to stall and get a little creative. Christian actually had to play one game solo, so it was 2 versus 1 because the other team was tired of waiting. Right. So he played 2 versus 1, and he tried to play as slow as he could, so Jaden could actually fix this problem caused by the game developer.
Nice.
So we came back to win the match overall. But it's stuff like that I'm talking about. That it would be like, I don't know, the NFL commissioner suddenly appearing on the field in the middle of halftime saying, no, we got to tear up the turf here, for 1 second, and
that's not going to flow very well at all.
Right. So those things can happen. It's like you said, it's a new frontier, and we have to figure out how to navigate that.
I've got one final question that I have kind of written down as we've gone along.
Sure.
National championships, generally, I remember from college, come with some kind of presentation of such certificates and rings. So what's your awards ceremony look like for digital sports? I really got to know.
They got big rings.
Yeah, they got the big rings.
Yeah.
If you're going to do anything, though, I was watching Ready Player One the other day. If you're going to do something, it needs to be a digital ring with like a holographic that pops out or something.
Yeah. That's such a great question, Rob. I don't know if we get rings or jerseys or fanfare or trophies. I don't know. Like I said, it's an invitational is how it's
Right.
billed by the NJCAA. But Frank and I both agreed that Jaden and Christian worked way too hard this season for us to just slap a pat on the back and say, good job, kids, next season, right?
Right.
We've got to do something for them. That's why I'm hitting the airwaves right now. That's why we're talking to the local newspapers and WKTV. We're trying to say, hey, we got to recognize these two young men who, worked tirelessly these two young men didn't know each other at the beginning of this semester. And they formed a bond that was able to, go take an undefeated season. That's just unheard of, especially not knowing, your strengths and weaknesses. They had to learn that all on the fly, and balance the team out, complementing each other so well. That took a lot of practice, a lot of time, and a lot of effort. We want to make sure they are recognized for that. So while I can't say the NJCAA is providing us with a holographic ring or anything, I don't really know what's going to come of that. But we, as an institution, as a college, we want to make sure those two young men are recognized for their hard work.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, man, I appreciate your time. That's all I have for you. You can tell Christian and Jaden if they want to join us, just to reach out. You've got my email or something like that. Maybe we can interview them moving forward and get them some screen time, and they can talk about what's going on and everything. And congratulations to you and to Frank. We're going to have to make sure he sticks around, because I don't think ESports Up on the Hill is going anywhere. And I had no idea that you were going to St. Lawerence. So congratulations to you, buddy. That's huge.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. And I will put you in touch with those gentlemen. It's very important that radio shows like this, keep putting the news out like this. I really thank you for this opportunity, Rob.
Not a problem. And thank you for reaching out, and congratulations to you and to your team of Christian and Jaden on winning a national championship on Call of Duty. That's huge. And it makes, it puts Herkimer on the map in a big way. And like I've said before, people sleep on the hill, but you guys are active and doing a great job. So congratulations all around. And thanks for joining us, man.
Thank you so much, the both of you. Have a great evening.
Josh.
See you later, man.
Take
and that's Josh Lanza with ESports at Herkimer College. That's awesome. Undefeated season, kicking ass, taking names. Love it. Love it.
It's awesome.
We're going to take a little commercial break and come back on the other side with our weekly press box.
Visit My Little Falls and stay connected with the latest news, information, and events in the city. Our mission is to generate interest in the community and connect residents in a more meaningful way by facilitating deeper conversations about how these stories will shape the future of Little Falls, New York. Join thousands of weekly visitors who stay up to date with feature stories, interviews, videos, and our events calendar. It's about timely local news for the community, keeping citizens informed about important issues, telling stories about the people who live and work here, and giving locally owned businesses the opportunity to reach a very targeted audience of local residents and tourists alike. It's a whole new form of media-rich content developed specifically for today's mobile lifestyle and listeners. You can download our iOS app in the iTunes store or sign up for our weekly newsletter. Stop by today at mylittlefalls.com. You'll be glad you did.
And we're back. And I just ignored a call from somebody that probably wanted to sell me a warranty on my car, which is always lovely. They find you.
I love the jokes about that too. When you see those things.
Oh yeah.
It's pretty funny.
Anyway, so we're going to do our weekly press box, and we've got a little bit more than usual here, but it's also on size 22 font because my eyes are going bad at 31 years old. So that's always fun. So we're going to start out with boys soccer. OESJ takes the win against Fonda Fultonville with a score of 3-0. OESJ scored all 3 goals in the second half and locks in Mark Schell for his 50th win as head coach. So congratulations to him and the squad. Lawerence and Milford beats Richfield Springs with a score of 3-2. This ends Richfield's season. Northville takes the win against Canjo 6-1. Canjo's back in action on Monday to close out their regular season against OESJ. And Mayfield blanks Fort Plain 3-0. So we're seeing some Fall 2 sports wrapping up. Over in girls soccer, we have OESJ shut out and shut down Fort Plain 8-0. Ashley Engels scored 4 goals and got an assist. Kadem Battisti added 2 goals to the scorebook, and Madison and Sydney Shell each notched a goal. Milford wins their final match versus Richfield Springs with a score of 2-1, and Northfield blanks Canjo 2-0. Over in football, Little Falls got the win last week, and obviously football with a 21-14 win over Central Valley with a late stand on defense, and then Ricky Smith cashing in. So congratulations to Little Falls. West Canada beats Frankfurt Schuyler in a close matchup, 14-13. Mount Markham beat Dodgeville in a baseball score of 6-9, and Clinton blanks Sequoia Valley 21-0. It's nice to have football back. Were you at the game?
No, I was not.
No?
Still felt like I didn't have the energy to do it, but I'm getting
Gotcha.
there. Of course, now football's done. So
Say again?
I think football's done now. I looked at the schedule like there's nothing this week local. They're away games.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. So
5 games. It's just,
I know.
Yeah. Jumping
it's better than nothing.
And I'm
It's
glad
good for the kids.
You know what? Give the seniors and and not just that, but soccer, everything. I'm glad they're getting it in. Kudos to the athletic directors and staff for making it all happen, because that's important. It's an important part of high school. Jumping over to Utica College, the men's team held a commanding lead, 308-335 over second place St. John Fisher in their golf match going into Sunday's action. And on Sunday, they finished their campaign to take home the Empire 8 championship trophy. Their performance tentatively qualifies them to participate in the NCAA Division III Men's Golf Championship, which will be hosted May 11th to the 14th in Wheeling, West Virginia. That's a fun trip. The Pioneers bolstered their schedule with additional competition to ensure that they meet participation requirements in order to take part in the national championship. The official tournament selection announcement will be made May 3rd on ncaa.com. So congratulations to them and good luck. We hope you get a good seed, make it in, and have some fun in West Virginia. Softball was on the road at Utica Park for a weekend doubleheader, and they fell in both games. The first game was 4-3, and the second game was 10-7. Women's lacrosse was in Elmira and continued their dominance with a 23-4 final score for their final regular season match. They now look to the Empire 8 Conference Championship, where they will see Utica College in the first round. So good luck, girls, going into that. Again, we're going to Herkimer College, and congrats to Christian and Jaden, as well as Josh and Frank on a great season, and everybody else in their ESports for adding a national championship in their first inaugural season. That's absolutely huge. And again, thank you, Josh, for joining us today, and good luck in St. Lawrence, buddy. Had no idea you were going there, so we look forward to seeing what you can do. And St. Lawrence is in New York and local, and still a local connection, so we'll have him on. Why not?
What is it, like 4 hours up there?
Something like the tundra of Canada.
Yeah, something.
Hit a golf ball, you're in Canada.
Yep.
So again, congratulations to the Christian and Jaden, the whole team, on a great season. Soccer used their second half of their match against TC3 over the weekend to rack up 8 goals and erase TC3's 1-0 lead at the halftime. The boys close out the regular season Friday, hosting Erie Community College. Softball took their first 2 losses on the road this weekend. They played Jefferson in Herkimer for the first leg of a 4-game series. They won both games at home. Then on the road in Watertown, Jefferson took both games at their home field. Herkimer drops to 3 in the NCJAA rankings. The girls will have to regroup and travel to Syracuse this weekend to face the Corning Spartans, who are currently undefeated and hold the #1 ranking. Jumping to baseball, the squad racked up 74 runs in 4 games playing Jefferson, 2 games in Watertown and 2 games here in Little Falls at Vets Park. This improves their overall record to 22-2. The Generals will travel to Niagara County Community College on Wednesday to defend their lead in the Eastern Division of Region 3 and their #5 ranking in the NCJAA. Also on April 21st, head coach Jason Rathbun collected his 500th win as the leader of the Generals baseball team. So congratulations, Raz. He adds this to an impressive resume with 7 Region 3 championships, 12 Mountain View championships, 16 Coach of the Year awards, and so much more. So awesome to see him doing great things up there. And making it over to Cuse Lacrosse, they were in action against #5 Virginia on Saturday. Watch part of that game. Great game. And they got a 13-11 season-saving win. They posted on their social media, which I thought was funny, to cancel the funeral after the win. So that was actually pretty funny to watch. Like within 20 minutes, it was all over. Cancel the funeral.
Oh, geez.
Somebody had like one of those little gifts of a hearse leaving, and I'm like, that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
They're in action this coming Saturday, May 1st, to end the season playing Notre Dame. After that, it will determine whether it either get into the postseason and what placement's going to look like. Jumping into local professional sports, the Comets hosted the Rochester Americans, a makeup game from earlier cancellations because of COVID protocols, and they took a win 7-5 there. Indycar was on the streets of St. Petersburg this weekend in Florida. And for the Firestone Grand Prix, very smooth race led by Colton Herta, who put on just a masterclass of a race to take the victory there. NASCAR was in Talladega. You know what you need to do in NASCAR?
Win.
Yes, and you know how you win? You lead the last lap. And that's exactly what Brad Keselowski did in Talladega. After a green and white checker, the Deuce took the checkered flag to hold off the field for his first win of the season. And of course, being in Talladega, there had to have been some crash and some controversy, and everybody's seen the video. In the second stage, Joey Logano was sent flying, flipped, and landed on his roof. Logano has been critical of post-race, ranting about safety standards. I think the fact that the accident happened and he walked away shows how far NASCAR has come. However, reduced weight and aerodynamic frames of the car, it's not shocking. But I understand where he's coming from. Safety is always key to NASCAR, and they've made great strides in recent years. And talking with Kyle Stevens just before we did our podcast today, he had a great quote: "Is safety in racing will never stop improving. They're always looking at it, and investigation obviously has been launched to make sure that doesn't happen." So over in baseball, Yankees continue to be awful and make me very, very sad, especially on the weekends when I watch the games. Boston holds a lead in the AL East. Tampa and Toronto are back 3 games each. Baltimore is out 3.5 games, and the Yankees are 4.5 games back, which makes me sad. And anybody who's a Boston fan, Zach Steele, I don't want to hear it. On the other side of New York baseball, the Mets continue to look in great form for this part of the season. Castro is a gift that nobody really expected in New York, and DeGrom's fastball and slider are almost impossible to hit right now. They hold a lead in the NL East. Philly is a half a game back. Atlanta and Miami are both a game and a half back, and the Nats sit at 2 games back. And we are upon draft week for the NFL. Can you believe it? It's here finally. No. Yes. The draft week is upon us. The draft is all over the place. So if you know who's going to do, I think we know who the first person who's going to go, because that's pretty, and probably second overall. But there's so much moving. I was on a site the other night, and they do a mock draft after every major move has been made. And they're like version 28 or 30 something, because it's just all over the place, which is just crazy.
Well, I'm still stuck on wanting Edelman to head to Tampa. So I'm sorry. What were you talking about?
It's 2021. We gotta update that those rosters and teams and some of the teams.
You want some new blood, is what you're saying? I don't know. Those names are just good.
Yeah. First round is on Thursday, so you can listen to Scott's and the gang at Marty's Illegal Stick, and then us, and then have TV on in the background. And speaking of Scott and I, our fantasy hockey league, we are over and done with, and I'm sure he will talk about that to some detail. We both got bounced out of our fantasy hockey first round playoffs this weekend, so that was fun. Now we look forward to
he has free time now, right?
Yeah, right. Free time.
All right.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure his free time is what he does for his podcast.
I think
just
so.
Like me. So
yeah.
Anyway, so coaches and staff, please continue to include us in your sports reporting at Sportsbeat at mylittlefalls.com for updates and highlights throughout the week. Find us on Facebook at Sportsbeat with Rob Drumm. For all your local sports news and our podcast home, find us on mylittlefalls.com. For me, Rob Drumm, here with Dave Warner. We'll talk to you next week.